Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. Episode number 500. It is the quincentennial version of the program. Yes, I had to look that up. I had no idea what 500 was. In other words, it's quincentennial, Lundy, so it's only appropriate. We are celebrating on this hashtag Tequila Thursday, and we're raising a glass or a full bottle of añejo, you see on your screen right there, of Suavecito Tequila. It's ultra smooth, quite tasty. I only have drops remaining in my bottle, and I'm just going to pick it up and let them dance on my tongue. Maybe as soon as this podcast is done recording, because we got day hoops today, we got night football. Everybody's talking about the historic weather potentially in Western New York between the Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns. Will the game even be played in Buffalo, or could it be moved to Ford Field in Detroit? Who the heck knows? So congrats to you, my friend. I appreciate you being on this journey with me over the last couple of years. A lot of laughs and a lot of losing bets. So let's get a couple of winners tonight.
Yeah, lots of losing bets. 500 episodes, you're going to lose a lot, folks. You're going to lose a lot. I mean, there are, there are a lot of stupid things that we have done over the course of 500 episodes. Because if you think about it, Brad, we average a little less than 30 minutes on each one of them. That is 250 hours of nonsense. And really, for those of you that have been with us since the start, it's 250 hours of your life that you'll never get back.
That is indeed very true, and those units have disappeared permanently from my account as a result as well. So let's get some bet tonight because we got a Thursday Night Football matchup on the Amazon. The Tennessee Titans traveling to chilly Green Bay, Wisconsin. Tim's game time temps, this would be in the mid-20s in this one. Hopefully there'll be a couple of snowflakes flying, but nothing really meaningful that would alter the game. Not like what we saw the MAC last night between Western Michigan and Central Michigan. That was a major dumpage, to say the least. So what do you like here? Green Bay is laying 3, open at -1.5 at all the books, and now it's at 3 pretty much universally, with a total pretty much universally at 41. Just for clarification's sake, I pulled this from BetMGM. So what's your lean in this Thursday night matchup?
I'm going to lean with the points, Brad. I'm actually going to take Tennessee plus the points. I think they can keep this close. And in fact, as I lay down the score for you, which means, good God, do the exact opposite of everything I say. If the last 48 hours is any kind of indication for you, but I'm actually going to take Tennessee to win this thing straight up, Brad. I'm taking them 20-17. I think they go on the road. I think they continue to have that hold on the AFC South.
Oh, Lundy, as you were talking, I am literally putting together a one-game parlay at BetMGM. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers on the money line because I'm worried that the 3 is a perfect number. And maybe they win on a Mason Crosby kick in the end. But I'm going to do on that OGP a little 2-legger with the total. So again, I got Green Bay on the money line. And let's take the total up from 41.5. Let's just go ahead and make it 48.5, and you get that at a cool plus 125. And I think building in cushion will be pushing some pennies into your bank account there in the end. So that's how I'm going to play this game. It should be a fun one. And will the Renaissance continue for Aaron Rodgers after the 3-touchdown, his first 3 TD game of the season last week against the vaunted Dallas Cowboys, but they can't stop the run, so we shall see. With that on the board officially, let's get after it here on this Hashtag Tequila Thursday. Also on this 500th episode with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
Touchdown, Aaron Lazard. That's what I need the commentators to mouth at some point tonight. And if that does occur, Lundy gets plus 200 on anytime score at FanDuel Sportsbook. It's plus money across the board, and I find that rather puzzling because, yes, I know Randall Cobb is going to be back. Yes, I know everybody is head over heels in love with Christian Watson after his uno, dos, tres, mi amigos, 3-touchdown game. But are we forgetting what Lazard has done the entire season? He has been the primary choice of weaponry inside the red zone for Aaron Rodgers. He is wide receiver 12, as a matter of fact, among all wide receivers in total red zone targets with 10 on the season. He has the 5 touchdowns. He's seen close to 21% of the team target share, and he has scored in 3 of his last 5 games. Now, the biggest area of weakness for the Tennessee Titans defense is in its secondary. They're giving up 7.30 pass yards per attempt. They have allowed 11 wide receiver touchdowns, and he's going to get a whole lot of Bolden in that secondary. Guy out of the slot who's only been targeted 4 times because he's barely played. So knowing that, the secondary is ripe for the picking and knowing Lazard's trends, are we sleeping too hard on the wide receiver? Plus 200 for anytime touchdown at FanDuel. Fade or follow?
I'm following on this one because I like anything that starts with that plus and then that 2. Like if you're looking at your keyboard, you get the little plus, you get the 2. You put those 2 things together, that is a very nice payday. So you've got me on that one because all morning long, actually over the course of about the last 48 hours, and I told you, the last 48 hours have been a little rough on the betting standpoint. I've had a couple of nice ones, but I've also missed on a bunch of smaller ones. And what happens is when you go on tilt, usually one of 2 things happens. Perhaps there's been some Suavecito involved, but one of 2 things happens when you go on tilt. The first one is you start just willy-nilly throwing bets around. Like you just don't even care. Like I've been present with you, Brad, when you've done that.
Yes.
And it gets a little interesting because then you're just like, what do I know about Tulane? Who gives a shit? And then you just start making a bet. Or you start digging for the plus odds. And in this particular case, this one jumped out at me actually earlier today because I saw the fact we were sitting at plus 200 for an anytime touchdown for a guy that we know has, I don't want to say it's not like it's a better than 50-50. We know some weird things happen in football games, but he's certainly, it's not like I'm pulling out a 4th string wide receiver, right, to be able to get a touchdown. You're talking about a guy that is a big time part of the offense and a guy that can get the red zone targets. So I think at plus 200, you're getting some really good value here. I don't know whether he's going to splash or not, but I think the value is huge. And in fact, I've got a similar type of play on the ice coming up in bonus time where I just think I'm not convinced this particular team is going to win, but I cannot resist the underdog odds that we've got. I'll talk about that in bonus time.
Oh, gets seduced by the juice. We're betting on Lazard to score.
Number 4.
All right, no way in hell I can actually spell this name correctly. It took me several attempts just to type this into the banner there at the bottom of your screen. But Chigoziem Okonkwo, I am going to take the over on the second tight end because there's Austin Hooper also in a Tennessee Titans uniform, but it's just 9.5 receiving yards. That is it. The best line available right now at Bet Rivers at minus 109. It's also a nice little fun leg. If you want to do a same game or 1 game parlay, you can get it down all the way to 6 or more receiving yards, which means I need a 1 play payday. That's it. And Okonkwo, when he's gotten targets this season, he has been a break tackle machine. Now, he has not run 10 or more routes in a single game this season. I think the highest he had was a couple of weeks ago in which he ran 9 routes. But he's usually good for like 6 to 8 routes any given week. The last 3 games, he has indeed caught 1 pass in each game. He went 1 for 3. We don't want that repeated 3 weeks ago. Then 1 for 48. And then last week, 1 for 41. As I said, it's set up like a little bubble screen for him and given the big body, given his ability to separate in the open field. He's got really good wheels. For an unrefined player, I think he could, sprint his way for a 10-yard gain, hopefully. Against the Packers this season, 11 tight ends have reached 10 yards against them, bearing it down, stripping it down, 3.4 receptions per game, 27.5 receiving yards per game, have the Packers allowed to plus-size targets. So Chigoziem Okonkwo, fade or follow the over 9.5 receiving yards, minus 109 at Bet Rivers.
Well, you're doing better than Joe Buck in terms of pronunciation.
I had to slow it down, man. I had to slow it down.
Well, you got to slow it down. But those of you that are fans of the Broncos or are here in Denver, like I am, where, by the way, Brad, it's already started snowing this morning. Then you've heard Joe Buck absolutely butcher Albert Okwuegbunam over and over and over again for the Broncos.
Albert O! Just go
right.
Albert O!
And literally, like, Broncos fans were tweeting at Joe Buck during the game. Like, dude, just call him Albert O. He's actually given everyone permission to call him that instead of absolutely butchering his name. You've done a lot better here with Okonkwo. You really have. And I understand that Chigoziem. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, Chigoziem.
See,
yeah,
all
right.
You got to do, like Joe Buck, just seriously, like it's like the commercial with Gus Johnson where he's just practicing in the mirror beforehand. That's all you got to do, Joe. I really wish from a one-game parlay standpoint, Brad, that there was an option to take him for just a reception. I do actually wish that were the option instead of the yardage. But when you go and you do the OGP, you do the SGP that you're going to try to do, the best they're going to give you is that low threshold on the receiving yards. I don't mind betting this one by itself, but I will say that I like this a lot better as an extra leg in an OGP to be able to bump my odds up. Taking a 3-legger perhaps and making it 4, taking a 4 and making it a 5. I just wish it were for just a reception, but instead you got to go with the 6 yards. So what do? We look for the one and done. We love those kinds of bets, whether it's 3-pointers in the NBA, block shots, or in this case, we just need a catch out of Okonkwo.
Go with the over on Okonkwo. No spelling required.
Number 3.
Oh, here's another complicated name and definitely a word salad. Nick Westbrook-Ikinhe. Give me the over on 22.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at DraftKings. And we've seen a lot of fluctuation in this line, Lundy. This is what it opened at. It jumped as high as 27.5. I saw it as high as 28.5 at one book. And now it is back to really where it started. And I would play this number maybe as high as 27.5, quite honestly, because Westbrook-Ikinhe is coming off a season high, which he had 8 targets, 5 receptions, 119 yards against who? Coincidentally enough, your Denver Broncos. And he has been over this number this season in, just a handful of games, actually 3 games in total, but he has run 43 routes in total the last couple of weeks. And you look at what he is going to do on paper. He's going to draw Nixon in coverage. Remember, no Eric Stokes. I believe he is on injured reserve, not going to be playing in this game for the Green Bay Packers. And Nixon this season has given up an 84% catch rate, 125.8 passer rating to his assignments. And Green Bay has allowed 19 WRs to hit 23 receiving yards against them in a game. So fade or follow. Nick Westbrook-Ikinhe over 22.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at DraftKings.
I'm scared of this one because of the hyphenated name. And the reason for that, is last night, all I needed was a little bit of love out of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins of the Edmonton Oilers. Basically, I could book next summer's vacation. That was how much I needed some help out of him last night. And of course, he let me down. The entire Edmonton Oilers team let me down. So, Brad, right now I'm just scared of dudes with hyphenated names. I am. It's kind of like being scared of small colleges in basketball that are that way, that have 2 names, like Bethune-Cookman, Robert Morris, George Washington. Like, sometimes I just get scared of multi-named colleges because I just get confused. And so I think that one's this way. In truth, I'm following because the number came back down. I like the fact that it did the spike that you talked about. And I know we only talk about a couple of yards, but folks, in betting terms, that's a spike. Okay. When something moves like that, the fact that it's come back down, I like that. I will absolutely play this one. So I'm going to follow you on this one. Take the over, the 22.5. Enjoy the fact that it came down. Another one that could make a good OGP leg, by the way. If you wanted to pull it down even more, take it to something like, 15 plus. Right? One of those that makes a good leg in this one, because Brad talked about it. It's going to be cold as hell at Lambeau, but it's not like it's going to be blowing sideways. We're not going to have, a snow game where you can't see the field or anything like that. It's just going to be cold. That's all it is. These guys are capable of playing through that. That's why they got those really fancy heaters on the sideline and the benches that are warm and all of that. So I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to still see the ball go through the air. So roll with this one, but consider it, same thing. Consider it with an OGP and pop the number down.
Don't fear the hyphen. Bet on Slick Nick. All right. We are
get to the good stuff.
We are presented on this Hashtag Tequila Thursday by Suavecito Tequila. Pick up a bottle right now. And if you don't know anything about Suavecito, well, let me give you a little background information and how damn good it really is. In 2015, Forbes magazine in New York City contacted 10 tequila experts around the country, places like California, Texas, Florida, and New York, people who know tequila, and asked these experts one simple question. What is the best tasting tequila sold in the United States? Well, 1 week later, on the front page of Forbes was a bottle of Suavecito Añejo. Grab some love juice tonight and throw a betting fiesta on this Hashtag Tequila Thursday. Get Suavecito at any Total Wine and More store or ask for it where you are. We consider it a favor. Gracias.
Number 2.
All right, moving on, and what's going to go down the old gullet as smooth as Suavecito Añejo? It's got to be Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to take the over on 1.5 passing touchdowns. Best odds in the biz right now on a light juice, minus 104 at Caesars Sportsbook. And why am I saying that Rodgers is going to have a back-to-back multi-TD games? Well, as I mentioned before, Tennessee, you can take advantage of them through the air. 5 passers have thrown for at least 2 touchdowns in a game against them this season. They're giving up 7.30 pass yards per attempt, 294.4 pass yards per game as well. Rodgers, number 2 among all quarterbacks in red zone completion percentage, and number 7 and red zone attempts, and he has thrown for 2 or more touchdowns in a game 7 times this year. So, the demise of Aaron Rodgers, I think, is a little bit overblown, a bit exaggerated. He's had a good, not a great or MVP caliber year, but I believe that given the weakness of this secondary of the Tennessee Titans, Rodgers is going to throw 1 touchdown, as I mentioned, to Al Lazard. The second one, I don't give a hell crap, whatever you want to throw out there to describe it, who he throws it to. Just give me a second one, Aaron Rodgers. Even if it's like a third string tight end, we'll make it work. So Lundy, fade or follow. Aaron Rodgers over 1.5 passing TDs, minus 104 at Caesars.
So the problem I've got with this bet, Brad, is it counters what I think is going to happen in the game, which is the under. Right? I mean, I told you I think Tennessee actually is going to win. And so I've got Green Bay pegged for 17 points. It means 2 touchdowns. Your bet means they both have to happen through the air. And I'm not convinced that happens. I think we get 1 on the ground and 1 through the air. So I have to fade you on this one only to stay consistent with my pick at the start of the pod. I got to be able to fade you on this one, but I will say, if you like the idea of it getting done through the air in this one with Aaron Rodgers, these are great numbers from Caesars.
Screw consistency. Take the over on Rodgers.
Number 1.
All right, let's do an OGP, SGP, and come with me, hopefully, on this one, Lundy. And it is a football Frankenstein. Seahold, Smashel, Derrick Henry. Give me 80-plus rush yards on an alt line. And slap together with Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown. And it comes together at plus 120. Ooh, yeah, get seduced by that juice at BetMGM. I absolutely adore this prop because Green Bay has not exactly done a stellar job bottling up and containing the run. They have allowed 5.05 yards per carry, 122.8 rush yards per game to the running back position. They've only given up 6 combined touchdowns to RBs, but Henry, when they're knocking at the door of the goal line, he's going to have his number called. He has scored a touchdown pretty consistently here on the season. And a guy, too, breaks tackles left and right, 3.79 yards after contact per attempt. That's number 4 in the NFL. He has been under here in the last couple of weeks, which is uncharacteristic for him on the yardage total. But he was over in his first or last 7 games prior to that. Again, temps going to be here in the low to mid 20s. So Derrick Henry just punch one in. That's probably going to be the most difficult step in this, because I think in the end, he's going to be at or near 100 rush yards. So fade or follow on an SGP OGP, Derrick Henry, 80-plus rush yards. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown, plus 120 at BetMGM.
Oh, fade you again. I don't trust the touchdown. Do you know that he's
Wow.
only played Green Bay twice in his career, Brad? Twice. 2 games. One of them back in 2016. He carried 9 times for 31 yards. And then back in 2020, he went for 98. Do you know that he has not scored a touchdown in either of those 2 games against Green Bay? You want to know another crazy fact? Wow. And I know these are different years. We're talking about different teams. I get all of that. You want to know the other crazy fact? In the 2 games against Green Bay, he does not have a single catch. Not a single catch over the course. For a guy that, Tannehill wants to just kind of dump it out there, maybe he finishes with 12, 13 yards by the end of the game. He doesn't even have a single catch against him. For whatever reason, Brad, I want to believe it, because I want to believe, as I said at the beginning, that Tennessee is going to win the game. And I think to do it, they got to keep it on the ground. But this makes me nervous because of the touchdown side of it. I actually think he can get to 80 yards. It's your TD that I'm not comfortable with. So I'm going to fade that part of it, because I think I'd rather work Derrick Henry into a same game parlay with something with the rush yards. But I think I probably would stay away from who's going to wind up scoring the touchdown, because is this one of those games, Brad, where they get sneaky and get a little quarterback sneak at the goal line and Derrick Henry loses his opportunity? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it. I'm just putting it out there. Just the tip. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
You're giving me the case of the heebie-jeebies, so right? I need to conquer that right now. I'm trying to get those negative thoughts out of my mind. It's all about positivity here on the Fade 5 podcast.
Keep trying, my man. Keep trying.
And we got bonus time opportunities, whether in tonight's Thursday night affair. Maybe you're looking ahead in NFL week number 11, or in college basketball, the NBA, or your beloved NHL. What do you got for me? Again, bonus time. Fire away.
Want to be able to have some fun in this one. I understand you're looking for some opportunities. So I will tell you that one of the ones that I liked, and I just lost it. There it is. Plus 100 odds, Brad. If you want to follow your logic in this game, plus 100 for Derrick Henry to have over 22.5 rush attempts. I'll take that at plus odds. Part of the reason why, please remember, we talked about what Green Bay did against Dallas last week, but remember that involved overtime. So you're talking about a Green Bay defense that was on the field for 79 plays 4 days ago. I think this defense is going to be a little bit worn down. I think it's also going to be very cold, as Brad talked about. So I think there could be an opportunity. And this plays into you wanting the 80 yards, you wanting the touchdown as well. I like the rush attempts because I'm getting seduced by the juice at the plus 100s. Give me the over on the 22.5 rush attempts. Same idea here. Let me bounce over on the Green Bay side. Give me A.J. Dillon over 10.5 for his longest rush. 11 dudes have done this to Tennessee this season, including 2 quarterbacks, by the way, that have gotten to at least 11 or more for their longest carry of the game. So give me the opportunity to see A.J. Dillon do the exact same thing against this Tennessee defense, even though I know they're stout, I understand. But even with that, we've been seeing guys get to that number. And I told you that I like Tennessee straight up, but I'll take them plus the 3. Mike Vrabel, by the way, 20-7 against the spread when that spread is 3 points or more. All right, let me bounce over real quick. One in the NBA that I really like tonight because you can get it at plus 105 odds. Give me over on De'Aaron Fox on 4.5 boards. I just need 5, man. And he just keeps hovering right at that number all season long. So you're rolling the dice a little bit, but it is sitting at DraftKings right now at a plus 105. So I will take Fox on the over on the 4.5 rebounds in that game later tonight. There's only 3 on the schedule in the association. That's the Spurs and the Kings in Sacramento tonight. Then I mentioned for you, I got 2 in the NHL, one of which New Jersey is on the road to take on Toronto. Okay, I understand they're on the road, but right now, they're plus 125 on the money line, the New Jersey Devils are. The reason I like that, This team has won 10 in a row and 13 of their last 14. If you're going to give me plus odds on a team that is that hot, I'm going to take it. Eventually, their win streak has got to come to an end, and it might be tonight against Toronto. But at the same time, it's plus odds for a team that hasn't lost since like freaking Halloween. It's crazy how hot the New Jersey Devils are right now. So at plus 125, I will take it. Again, they've won 10 in a row and 13 out of their last 14. And then the last one, let's go to Sin City, a place that Brad and I have been but don't usually remember. Arizona will be there, the Coyotes, and most of the time we fade the Yotes. We fade the hell out of the Yotes. But they're on the road against Vegas. Arizona, they played 3 times last year. Arizona won 1 of the 3. The Coyotes are known every now and then for jumping up and biting another team in the ass unexpectedly, because every now and then they get really good goaltending and it slows things down. This is one of those, I wouldn't hammer this bet, but I would throw something on it because Arizona is plus 300 on the money line to win. They've already, Arizona's done this a couple of times already this year. They're still not a great team. They're still sub 500, but they are known every now and then for playing out of their minds. And at plus 300, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you on that one because plus 300 could really add some riches to my bank account, which I need right now.
Don't do a lot. I mean, I don't care. Throw $10 on it. Throw whatever, just something small. They could get their asses absolutely kicked, or they could surprise some people at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas tonight.
Oh, how about some additional shocker specials, if you will, across the world of sports? Let's go to the NBA in the same matchup that you were just discussing, and the Kings and the Spurs. I got a same game / 1 game parlay. Domantas Sabonis, 5+ assists, and Kevin Huerter, 13+ points. Both those events occur. You're going to plus 110 at DraftKings. San Antonio has been an abomination defensively. They are number 29 right now. And adjusted defensive efficiency in the NBA, and they have allowed the most assists per game as well. Sabonis has dropped 5 or more dimes in 8 straight games at 11-13 contests this season. Meanwhile, Huerter has scored 13 or more points in 4 straight games, shooting a blistering 52.6% from way downtown on this season. So I like that 2-legger there. All right, to the world of college basketball. And by the way, we got day basketball going on, so ample opportunities for me to squander away more cash, but let's look at some of the evening sessions tonight. Some of these tournaments, non-conference tournaments getting underway in full swing. I like St. John's on the over 84.5 team total points against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I pulled this one from DraftKings at minus 120, so a little bit juiced up on that. St. John's has gone 97, 83, and 91 this year. So they've been over in 2 with 3, and it's all about tempo in this game. You know what St. John's and their style of play is under Mike Anderson? Pedal to the metal. They are number 5, according to KenPom, and adjusted tempo. And Nebraska ain't slow either. They're number 76 in the country and adjusted tempo as well. As a sidebar, I like the over in this game. I grabbed it at 140 or 157.5, and it's already spiked up to 159. I may play that up to an even 160. This one could be played by both teams. Somebody scoring 90, which will hopefully be the Johnnies, and Nebraska could maybe hit 80 in this game as well, and they obliterate the over, which is at 140 or 159. So again, I'm on St. John's over 84.5 points against Nebraska. And the other game that I like, give me the Richmond Spiders. Don't be an arachnophobe. -5 against the Wichita State Shockers. The Shockers, one of the worst offensive teams so far in the country, number 232 in effective field goal percentage offense. They've only netted 22.2% from the arc. And they lost just recently to Alcorn State at home. Richmond, meanwhile, Tyler Burton might be an NBA pro at some point. Guy already scored 38 points in his last game. As a team, they're shooting a ton of threes. 48.5% of their shots come from distance for Richmond. And they beat VMI by 21, and they beat Northern Iowa by 13 at home. So I think Richmond wins this one by 8 or more points, within 8 to 12 against Wichita State. Again, the line here, just -5. 5. And then back to the NFL. And, screw Lundy when he was talking about Derrick Henry. He's catching 2 balls tonight. And he's getting over on 11.5 receiving yards because Ryan Tannehill is back under center. It's not Malik Willis. And Tannehill is willing to check down. 12 guys have gone the over at the running back position against Green Bay Packers this season. Henry, yeah, he's good for around 7 routes in a game, but he's number 2 in yards per reception. I may just need 1 catch on a quick slip screen, and he gets 12, 13 yards out of it. By the way, he's got 20 targets in 7 games with Ryan Tannehill at the controls and has hit the over 4 times this season. And then the last play in this game, Mason Crosby. Yes, kickers are indeed people. And he's an old man. He's got more gray hairs than me. But I'm going to take the over on PATs, which is 2.5. And it's juiced way up at plus 135 at DraftKings. So, look, again, if I believe that Aaron Rodgers is good for at least 2 passing touchdowns, maybe they get a fluky 3rd score, and all of a sudden this cashes. He's done this 4 times this season, but again, the total is only 41, and only 1 kicker has hit 3 extra points against the Tennessee Titans this season. But let's roll the dice. We are out of time here on episode number 500 on a Hashtag Tequila Thursday presented by Suavecito. Again, go out and pick up a bottle of the love juice right now and demand it at your local liquor store if they don't sell it. It's fantastic stuff and affordable as well, and won't break the bank on it. Which is a major boost there. Not only that, drop us a rating and a review, would you very kindly. Feed or follow us on Twitter, Lundy at Nate Lundy with his free spreadsheet picks and my free spreadsheet picks at Noisy Huevos. As always, until next time, feed or follow. That is up to you. 500 more!